a comprehensive look at trends, fund profiles, and more in Exploring ETFs.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Exploring ETFs. I'm Neena Mishra, and today we are talking about the best performing ETFs of the third quarter. Now, third quarter was pretty interesting. That September was kind of a weak month, rather tumultuous month for stocks. And we saw a lot of selling earlier in September, but stocks rebounded towards the end of September as investors were looking forward to a new stimulus package. And there was some very positive news regarding vaccines too. Before that, August was a very strong month for stocks. So thanks mainly to August's performance, it was a strong third quarter. The Nasdaq surged 11% in the third quarter, and S&P and S&P 500 and the Dow, they gained 8.5% and 7.6% respectively in the third quarter. And we know that the second quarter was also very strong because stocks rebounded after hitting their lows in February and March. So combined with the second quarter gains, it was the best two-quarter performance since 2009. Now, during the third quarter, consumer discretionary was the best performing sector, unlike technology, which has been the top performer for the past so many quarters. Because as parts of economies started opening up, consumer discretionary stocks benefited, but technology also did pretty well. Consumer discretionary was up 16% during the quarter, and industrials was up 14%, and technology was up about 12% during the third quarter. Energy was again the worst performing sector, down about 19%. And we know that now we are in the fourth quarter and it is likely to be pretty volatile because of the election-related uncertainty. And we also have rising trade tensions and the path of the virus, and earnings are going to determine the performance of stocks in the fourth quarter. But I remain positive on stocks despite increased volatility, which investors should be prepared for. I think the bullish case for stocks remains in place because we will most likely have one or two vaccines approved before the end of this year, and they'll be available for wider distribution sometime early or second quarter of next year. And we will likely see a V-shaped economic recovery then, and markets are forward-looking. So that's a pretty good case for stocks, and we should have a fiscal package also soon, and we have unprecedented monetary support by the Fed. So a lot of liquidity in the system, a lot of cash lying on sidelines, which is waiting to be invested. Now, looking at the best performing areas of the third quarter, clean energy did really well. And that is mainly because due to technological innovations, the costs have been falling in that area. So that is why last year and this year, also clean energy and solar stocks did very well. And then sports betting ETF was another very strong performer. And we know that in 2018, the Supreme Court allowed for states to legalize sports betting, and now many states have legalized sports betting. And most Americans they support legalization of sports betting. That is the reason why some of those stocks have done very well. And that industry, the sports betting and online gambling industry is expected to grow fast in the coming years. So that is the reason why that ETF did pretty well. And the third ETF, which was very strong performer, is from the consumer cyclical sector, and it is not your plain vanilla cyclical consumer discretionary ETF. It's a different kind of ETF. So let's take a look at these ETFs by going to the code page on Zacks.com. So the first one we are talking about is the solar ETF, Invesco Solar ETF with the very interesting ticker symbol TAN, easy to remember. It is up 81% during the third quarter. And this is not the only clean energy ETF, alternative energy ETF, which has done well, but it has significantly outperformed all others. And in fact, other ticker symbols like QCLN, ICLN, PBW, they are also up more than 50% during the quarter. And I did a video on clean energy ETFs sometime back, few weeks back. So please take a look at that video. I'll not be talking a lot about the investment case for alternative energy in this video because I have already discussed that. Now, talking about the CTF in particular, it is pretty popular with about 1.7 billion in assets. It charges 71 basis points. Now we can go to the quote page on Zacks.com to learn more about this ETF. You can read the research report, articles on this ETF, and then you can go to the external homepage using the link on our quote page, the Invesco webpage, to learn more about this ETF and also take a look at the portfolio. Now, this is a very global ETF. That is something to keep in mind because China and Europe, many European countries, they have more faster growing alternative energy industries. So that is why about 50% of the portfolio is in US stocks, and then China, Germany, Spain, Norway, and other countries. You will also see that it has a lot of exposure to mid cap and small cap companies. So it is likely to be more volatile than your plain vanilla broad market ETFs. That is something to keep in mind. And looking at the top holdings, you will see Solar Edge, Enphase Energy, Sunrun. So these are some of the companies which have really soared this year. So that is why the ETF has done very well. The second ETF that we are highlighting, as I mentioned earlier, is the sports betting and iGaming ETF. It is by Roundhill. Again, a very nice ticker symbol, interesting ticker symbol, PETS. This is up about 41% in the third quarter, and this is the first and only sports betting ETF. It made its debut in June, and it has already gathered 134 billion in assets. It charges 75 basis points in expense ratio. And I had covered the ETF when I talked about some interesting new ETFs again a few weeks back. So please watch that video if you want to learn more about this ETF and other very interesting new ETFs. And again, you can go to the quote page on Zacks.com. I also did a podcast with the provider Roundhill. You can listen to that podcast and then go to the external homepage, the web page for this ETF, and learn more about the holdings and other details. William Hill, some well-known companies like DraftKings, Penn National Gaming that have done really well of late are among the top holdings in this ETF. This also has a lot of exposure to international companies because gaming is also a global trend. Now, the third ETF that has done really well this year is by Invesco, and it is Invesco Consumer Cyclicals Momentum ETF, ticker symbol PEZ. And Invesco has a suite of these momentum ETFs. Their technology momentum ETF has also done really well. PEZ is up about 36% during the third quarter. It has a rather concentrated portfolio of 42 consumer cyclical stocks, which are selected and weighted buy price momentum. So the stocks that are showing nice price momentum, that are rising in prices, they get higher allocations in the portfolio. Now, this is a relatively small ETF. It has 46 million in assets. So remember, for smaller ETFs, the bid ask spread may be wider. So make sure to use limit orders in case of small ETFs. It charges 60 basis points in expense ratio. Again, to learn more about this ETF, you can go to the external homepage, and from there you can go to the InvestScore webpage for this ETF and learn about the details and how it selects and rates the holdings. It selects at least 30 stocks from the NASDAQ Consumer Cyclical Benchmark Index, and the relative, they are weighted on the basis of their relative price momentum. Looking at the portfolio, you will see some very well-known hot stocks. O'Reilly Automotive, Tesla. So that explains partly the good performance. But Tesla is not the only hot stock in the portfolio. You see Workhorse, DraftKings, Amazon, Carvana. Carvana has been really hot. So Peloton has been really hot. So thanks to all these hot stocks, the ETF has done really well this third quarter. Now, I would like to quickly add that I did not include leverage and inverse and volatility ETFs in this video because I believe those are for short-term trading only. So some other video for leverage, inverse, or volatility ETFs. On the last slide, I have the competitive performance, which I have already discussed earlier, but you see that TAN is up about 81%, BETS is up about 41%, PEC is up about 36%, whereas the S&P 500 index gained about 8% during the third quarter. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our video channel so that you don't miss out any video, and I'll see you next week.